Hey everyone, just wanted to make a quick video. I hope you all are having a really great day. I am Nina Rodriguez, and this is my channel Misfit to Teach, where I talk about all things teaching and how to stay mentally, physically, and emotionally fit to teach. I'm making this video in my car, which I ordinarily don't do. I'm either in my office at home or I'm in my classroom. Those are my preferred areas to do my videos, but my son has baseball practice this afternoon, and my daughter was, I don't know if you can see her back there, but my daughter was taking a nap and now she's having a bottle. So I didn't want to get out of the car right away and interrupt her nap. Plus it's really cold. So just trying to enjoy a little bit of warmth before we have to go inside. But I wanted to make this really quick video because teachers talk to each other all the time in most schools. And one thing that was going around in the among teachers here in the past week was just this incident about like rule following and getting students to follow rules, and how frustrating it is, and how quickly things can escalate when a kid isn't following rules. And what ended up happening, well, long story short, the teacher was involved in trying to get a kid to follow her class rule, which is that they have to take their hoods off in her class, which really, on the surface, I can totally understand that rule. Most of us in most districts have to abide by it because there are safety concerns that go with hood wearing in a school or in a school's building, and why it's important for not just the students, but really for everybody to make sure that their hoods are off their heads in the building. Well, of course, when the kid refused, things started to blow up, and the kid ended up receiving a disciplinary referral, which the teacher later had to justify with our administration. Now, why it had to ever get to that point, I think, is where the real cause for concern ended up being. And I don't know what really came out of it, whether the principal was completely on board or whether they're going to support the kid receiving disciplinary action. But what I find overall is just teachers are almost always put in a position where they have to be the bad guy when it comes to enforcing rules that we do or don't agree with. Whether or not we want the rule in place, we have to sort of respect that the rule exists, and then we have to take steps to enforce that rule in both in our classroom and in and around the building. And when that doesn't happen, when kids start to buck at us or refuse or assert themselves in the other direction, we start to feel like our power is being questioned. And then when we have to escalate that to our administration and we don't receive or we don't feel their support, and worst case scenario, we actually see that they're supporting the kid, well, that's just an ultimate betrayal to a teacher. And it's like the longer I'm in teaching year after year, the more I feel like I'm not going to run myself rampant trying to protect everybody else's rules. And look, I have some of the strictest rules in my building for sure. In a previous video, I said that I'm one of the proud teachers who enforces a strict phone confiscation rule in my classroom. I don't recommend it for everybody, but I do recommend that you have your own phone policy in your classroom, that you enforce it daily. But even with that, even with being consistent, with having the relationships that I have with my students, I don't get 100% cooperation in that rule. Sometimes kids lie. Sometimes, the kids are coming to the room like, "Miss Rodriguez, I swear I don't have it today." And I'm like, "Yeah, you do. It's the rectangle in your back pocket." Sometimes they'll just chuck it into the bottom of their backpack. And I'm not going to check their backpacks for it. But they feel like they feel like they're just getting one over on me, or they just simply don't feel like following the rule that day. But what I can tell you is that I generally get, I would say, 80 to 94% participation and cooperation in that rule. And that level of cooperation in the rule, I'll take that and go on and have a good day and do what needs to get done, versus butting heads with a kid and having to waste precious instructional time, letting the situation escalate, and feeling powerless in front of my administration, all because somebody didn't follow my rule to the T. I'm not saying that the teacher in this situation was the bad guy. What I'm saying is that I feel bad that so often teachers run themselves rampant and we push ourselves in circles trying to get kids to buy in when that's really hard to do 100% of the time. So my thoughts on it are, I'll enforce things to the best of my ability, but it's not a hill I'm going to die on. I will do everything that I can using the relationships that I have with my students and the positive reinforcement and being consistent. I'll do all of those things, but at the end of the day, these are human beings and they're flawed and they're still developing and they're immature, and they have good days and bad days like we do. And I'm just not going to get 100% participation. I'm not going to expect it, and I don't think you should either. So my thoughts for today are, in the week ahead, as we close out this weekend, save yourself the frustration. Do the very best you can to enforce your rules and policies, and forget the rest. That doesn't mean that we let kids slide on our rules. It doesn't mean that we put up with disrespect and blatant disregard. It does mean that all you can do is what you can do, and the rest probably doesn't matter all that much. So don't stress yourselves out. I'm not going to stress myself out. Take your wins where you can get them and then keep it moving. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, what your opinions are on enforcing rules and how enforcing rules has made you feel in the past. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great rest of the day. Do all you can to stay fit to teach. Be well.